Managers can get things done through authority. Their staff work for them, and it is therefore the job of the staff to do as the manager instructs. And managers focus primarily on tasks and on getting things done. But as a project manager, your life isn't that simple, because very often the people working on your project don't work for you. And therefore, you have a bigger challenge, the challenge to lead. And that's what I want to speak about in this video. As a project manager, you will rarely have formal authority over all of the people in your team. Often, many of them, possibly all of them, will work for some other person or people. And they sometimes won't even work within your own organisation. So therefore, the usual rules about management don't all apply. You can't simply get things done by telling people what to do. That just won't work. So how do you lead people? How do you lead without authority? When you don't have that kind of authority, you need to rely on other things, like influence and persuasion, personality and depth of character, motivation and inspiration, and of course, respect and loyalty. Your job as a project leader is to inspire all of that in your people. And that's a big ask, because it's a big step up from the highly technical, process-oriented roles of a project manager that we often see in core project management training and in many of the project management qualifications available. So I want to talk you through 9 habits that will help you to lead without authority. Habit number 1, ironically, is authority. But I don't mean the hierarchical authority that you almost certainly won't have over all of your team members. I mean the authority that comes with depth of credibility, expertise, experience, knowledge, skill, and the character that you have. Because people look to leaders who have that kind of authority, that they can trust, that they knows what they're doing. A lot of it is our search for certainty and confidence in the people who lead us. And we detect that kind of confidence and certainty in our leaders when they show that they know what they're doing. So, although all of the process-oriented technical aspects of project management aren't necessarily about leadership, I do believe they are a fundamental foundation to your ability to lead. Because without them, the team members that you're asking to follow you won't have that confidence in your credibility and your authority to lead. However, if you can constantly show that you know what you're talking about and that you're prepared to stand behind the decisions that you make, that will inspire confidence. It will give a sense of certainty, and therefore it will lend you the kind of intellectual and character-driven authority that you need to lead when you don't have formal hierarchical authority. Habit number 2 is acting with fairness and integrity. It's building up a sense that people can trust you, that you will do the right thing, and you will act fairly in any situation. This is crucial. In fact, it was John Stacey Adams who first identified fairness as a driving force for motivation in the workplace. If we do not feel that we are being treated fairly, then we will not be motivated. He called this equity theory. So a big part of the integrity and fairness that you have to have as a project manager is making sure that you treat all of your people, your team members and your stakeholders fairly. This goes well beyond not discriminating and not favouring certain members of your team, although I hope that goes without saying. It's about making sure that every decision that you make, every choice that you make, is rooted in a fair assessment of the situation. Habit number 3 is giving your team members a good reason why they should do what you're asking them to do. Because human beings have a deep need for a sense of purpose and meaning. And you've probably experienced it at some point in your career. Someone asks you to do something, but doesn't tell you why they want you to do it. And in your mind, you're thinking, why? And yet, knowing it's your job, you do it. You just don't feel motivated. Well, amplify that over the course of a whole project, and people having to do things that they don't understand, that make no sense to them, for which they can see no purpose, and you'll end up at best with a demotivated team, at worst with a team who just won't do the things you ask them to do. Start any project by being clear what the value of that project is, the why to the project. And throughout the project, emphasize its value, its purpose, its meaning, so that people can feel proud in what they're doing because they know it has that value. And then when you ask people to do something, make sure that they are clear the link between what you're asking them to do and the end value of the project. That chain of meaning is highly motivating. And on the other side, if there is no good because to the question why, then you won't be able to motivate your team members. Habit number 4 is getting to know people and building a relationship with them. Because the more I get to know you, the more you get to know me. And the more you get to know me, almost certainly, the more you will like me, particularly if I build a relationship based on trust and based on an interest in you. And of course, the reality is that we will often do more for the people that we like and respect than we do for ourselves, which means that when your project is under pressure, then your team members will want to work for you. They will want to get the project done, firstly because they value the meaning behind the project, and second because they value their relationship with you. Habit number 5 is supporting and guiding people, being a mentor, being a support to them. When they have problems, be there to help them. When they need a little nudge in the right direction, be there to guide them. The role of project manager as coach and mentor to team members is one that I take very seriously. Because what people want to do when they join a project, when they do any work, is to feel they're learning stuff and growing professionally, but in a way that they feel safe. You can stretch people and ask them to do difficult things, but if you push them too far, then they don't feel confident and they don't feel safe in taking those risks, and that's where you need to support them as well as just guide them. Habit number 6 is engaging people to think for themselves and to make their own choices and decisions. As much as you can, delegate to people in an outcome-based way rather than a task-based way. Tell people what they need to achieve and not how they need to achieve it. Unless, of course, there are regulatory reasons why a particular process must be followed. Let people learn for themselves. As long as that learning process doesn't subject them or the project or you or stakeholders to danger and unnecessary risk, then this is how people learn. And of course, this means that sometimes your team members will make mistakes. But remember that through your career, you've made many mistakes and learned from them. Your job as a manager and leader is not to stop people from making mistakes. It's to stop them from making the wrong mistakes, mistakes that can hurt them or hurt other people. So as much as possible, let people make choices for themselves, because we are motivated by this kind of autonomy. Habit number 7 is advocating for your people. Doing what you can to remove all of the obstacles from their way so that they can get on and do the good job that they want to do for you and that you want them to do for you. And this means dealing with administration. It means finding the resources people need. It's taking away blockages. It's making sure that they see their work life as fair and that they can get on with their jobs. Habit number 8 is being kind. doing things for your people, acting with compassion and generosity, making choices that are not only fair, but make people feel good. As a project manager, you do have discretion about how you allocate people and the hours that you set them to work. When people find that they need a little bit of a favour from you, do that favour for them. You will know if they're taking advantage of you, but most people won't take advantage of you. They simply want to get on with their work, but also be able to deal with urgent situations that arise in their private lives and in their professional lives. And by acting generously, by acting with compassion, you further build up loyalty. And habit number 9 is to actively create opportunities for people to learn and develop and grow. Find opportunities that will stretch and extend the knowledge and skill set of your team members. Don't just give them dull work that they can do easily. Allow them to take on new challenges. Listen to them. Find out what their passions are, what their enthusiasms are, the direction they want to take their career, and look for opportunities that will help them. And the 2 times when this is particularly important is at the beginning of the project, when you're setting up assignments right from the start, and at the end of the project, when you need to be sensitive to people's need to move on from your project. If people feel you are as much on the lookout for opportunities as they are, and that you will grant them the chance to leave your project and move to the next project when the right opportunity arises, then they will be a lot less distracted by trying to find something for themselves, and therefore they will work harder and get on better with their job towards the end of their project. So getting things done and managing without formal authority is a real challenge, and it calls for real leadership. Management and leadership is easy if I know that you will do what I ask you to do because you feel you have to. But in projects, that's rarely the case. So develop the kinds of habits that will make people want to work with you, want to work for you, and want to perform at their best. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see all of our content. And why not hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of it. And I will see you in the next video.